family. Peace to my comrades, and it's always smoke to the COINTELPRO boxing fan. It is feeling good outside today. Fall is on its way, and ladies and gentlemen, it is fight week. The fight that we have been waiting for. Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford. And I tell y'all what, no matter what happens, I am happy because not too long ago, it seemed like the sport was just dying altogether. But we have a huge fight this week, and let's see, we have Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. not too far off after this fight. So I'm feeling pretty good. We have Fulton versus Shushu, right? So I'm feeling pretty good. Oh man. Salute Rick Jordan in the house. What's going on, fam? Oh man. Bud for the win. Eric Jordan in the house. Salute. Rick Jordan, Eric Jordan. Rick Jordan, Eric Jordan. You all got the same you must be on separate pages. Eric Jordan, okay. Oh, okay. I don't know why the E wasn't on your name the first time it popped up. Well, y'all know YouTube does crazy things, but man, let me see what the air feel like. I had to rush up here and get in line. I feel alright. I think I'm gonna sit with the car off as long as it doesn't get too loud out here. But family, oh man, that breeze. Yeah, man, YouTube be taking the letters out your name. Alright, I'm on live. I'm trying to be messing up my live. I'm talking to the family. You know what I'm talking about? Talking to the family. Curtis Knight came in and said Carmelo Anthony. Or Camelo Anthony. Curtis, we're going to do this for the family real quick. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all already know what time it is. We're going to go ahead and put the subscribers only on. People that's been with me for a while. Do it just like that. Subscribers only. So please like, subscribe, and share. Family, it is fight week. Canelo. Let me let this window up a little bit. Folks all in the family business. All in the family business. We trying to talk. You know what I'm saying? But look, it's fight week, y'all. Salute Jared Green in the house. This is what I want to say, you know, because I know, you know, me and my brother, Mansa Musa, you know, we were talking this morning on the Brother Drew Titans channel. And, you know what? This is what I realized to the family. We've been hurt. We've been let down. Salute Queen Shaquilla Fields in the house. Salute Cedric Traylor in the house. Salute to my comrade Patrice X30 in the house. I'm going to tell y'all something. This is a lesson that Coach had to learn. Because me and my brother, Mansa Musa, were talking. And you know what? My brother had a point. My brother said, man, you know, I know Terrence is a brother, but he hasn't always acted like a brother. And Canelo has never called me the N-word. And I had to really dissect what my brother was saying before I called in. And I realized that we have a division in our community that we must address. We hurt each other so much and are so we let each other down. Sometimes it's so disappointing that when it is your time and you need us to have your back, sometimes it's hard for some of the brothers to have your back. When Terrence Crawford took the side of Bob Arum years ago, what did we say? We were disappointed. We were disappointed in that move. It's some other things Bud Crawford has done and said. But this is what I had to remind my brother. I said, brother, you have a point. Canelo maybe never has called you the N-word, but you know who has called you the N-word? Some of his fan base. So no matter what, boxing is one of those sports where you can be tribal and you should not be insulted for it. If you are an Irish American and a real Irishman is in the sport of boxing and you go in there rooting for your Irishman, the person that has your Irish blood, there's nothing wrong with that. If you are a Mexican American and a homegrown Mexican is fighting the American champion and you're rooting for your Mexican brother or sister, that's what you're supposed to do. It's the sport of boxing. You cannot remove tribalism out of the sport. And it's rooted in tribalism and race. And, if you don't know, politics. The sport of boxing. So, this is what me and my brother had to come to the conclusion on. I said, brother, no matter what at the end of the day, because sometimes I get so passionate about what I'm saying, Coach Hudson can come off where you might feel that I'm attacking you individually, and I'm not. I want all of my brothers and sisters to know that there is a mindset that I'm always attacking in the sport of boxing. And that mindset is anything that pits us against each other. Anything that separates us, because we, as black people in the sport of boxing, we as black people in society, especially in our communities in America, we always allow things to come between us and we forget the mission. We forget why we started this thing in the first place. So, as far as the sport goes, y'all know I'm on live. As far as the sport goes, family, I am so excited. I am so ecstatic about the fight that is coming up. I'm not too happy about the undercard, but they probably giving so much money to the main event that they maybe couldn't, I guess, do too much with the undercard. Now, Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. is going to be a great undercard. But while all my brothers are speaking, for those of you who are watching our brother Drew Titan this morning, I had an epiphany. And I started, and I said it on the channel, I said, this fight is going to be like Andre Ward versus Kovalev combined. Some things we might see that will surprise you. Crawford might get hit with some type of flash hook or flash uppercut at some point and be dropped to a knee. And if this happens, salute Queen Shawa in the house. Peace and blessings. Just like Andre Ward was dropped by Kovalev, I believe he was dropped with either a jab or a right hand from Kovalev. Ward got up, went to the corner, and I could see Bomac having that same type of conversation with Crawford, the same way Virgil Hunter had that same type of legendary motivational comeback speech to Crawford. He said something along the lines of, this fighter got up, Ali got up, this fighter got up, now you get up. Ward went out there and put on a masterclass versus Kovalev. Now, people sometimes, we make these assumptions about the sport of boxing, and we don't remember that the sport is a science. Now, I'm going to be vulnerable and tell you a few times I was dead wrong about the sport of boxing. Fights that I rooted against, right? Salute, Queen Tay Tay is in the house, all right? This won't be a long live, family, but I thought I would just talk to you all. And I'm going to be going live every day because, family, it is fight week. And y'all know I'm excited, right? I thought Shane Mosley was going to beat Floyd Mayweather back when I was a youngin'. I was in my teens. All right, salute, Intelligent Savage in the house. Huh? Jared Green, now you talking how I'm talking. Jared Green said, yep, how Andre Ward got up against Kovalev. Anytime I have bet against the boxer, the superior boxer, I've lost. Some of those times, there was controversy and conspiracy behind the fights. The fight that I took the hardest was Fury versus Wilder. I'm not gonna lie, family. Coach Hudson was a lesser version of himself, and I almost got in a fight in Dave & Buster's. Not because Wilder lost, but because there was a table of two brothers who were rooting so hard against Wilder. And I honestly believe that if it was not for me being with family, it would have went very left. Because it's something about seeing us not being unified that rubs me real bad. Pause. All right. It don't sit in my spirit right. And sometimes we need somebody to remind us. Jared Green said, me too. I almost knocked my homeboy's head off. Listen, hey family, I had a watch party at my house for Madonna versus Floyd, the first one. This is when I was in the military. And it was way too many people in that house rooting for Madonna. Look, I kicked them Negroes out of my house like Martin. Y'all remember how Martin used to do folks get to stepping? I kicked everybody out that night, y'all. They was laughing at me the next day. They was like, damn, Hood, you ain't have to kick us out like that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. We don't do that type of coonery in my house. We don't let that, I ain't want that coon spirit to spread all my good carpet and my satin sheets in my bedroom. I need to get that that coon spirit out of my house. Intelligent Savage said me or Arrow versus Bud was another one. Fury Wilder. Okay, so let me see. I lost a bet. I lost a bucket of chicken with Floyd and Shane. I lost some money with I ain't gonna lie, that first Madonna fight with Floyd had me, boy, I was nervous for a little minute, you know, yeah. Um, of course, I had Errol. My dad and I bet. I had Errol beating. Um, I had Errol beating Crawford. In my mind, I thought the version of Errol that fought against Ugas was going to be fighting Crawford. And I thought the version of Crawford that was fighting Mean Machine was going to be fighting Errol. So based off of that math and science, that's how I got what I got. Boy, was I wrong. And to see Errol get beat like that, family, I ain't gonna lie, I was sick. I was sick. I had to go on vacation. But this is a little different. You have Crawford going up 3 weight classes. Of course, Canelo has not so much a weight advantage. He has a comfort advantage. The comfort is he's been at that weight class longer, so he's going to be more comfortable at that weight. But Canelo doesn't move fast at all, y'all. He just doesn't. I already see the game plan like I spoke on this morning with our brother Drew. You know, I already spoke on the game plan of Ada Reynoso's team. They're going to try to outbox Terrence Crawford at 168 pounds. They do not believe that he is going to be able to move and be as agile as he has been when we compare the version, the 147 or 154 pound version of Terrence Crawford. And I believe that the job of Bomac and Terrence is they're going to take Canelo into deep water. And I believe that they're going to try to put on an assault to Canelo's body that Canelo has never seen before. I believe that they've been working on what we call in the boxing world chopping wood. Huh? Salute to the village brother. Ain't seen you in a while, family. Salute. So in the boxing world, we call it chopping wood. All right? Chopping wood. Why is it called chopping wood? Well, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about a wooden door. All right? And if you have a axe, or let's say a hammer, let's say we take something without a sharp edge, and you keep hitting that wooden door, eventually, family, that door is going to break. Body shots are a lot different from head shots. See, I can get hit with a headshot, jump around, move around, and shake it off. If it doesn't knock me straight down, you can shake off a headshot. But family, those body shots and sowing those seeds into the fertile ground of pain to reap the crop of victory in the later rounds is different. I got to start writing this stuff down because that was cold what I just said. And I'm not going to remember it later. Watch. But when you sow those seeds of pain into the body of a fighter, it's not so much about how hard you hit. It's about placing those shots in the right places. Intelligent Savage says, facts. I'm an EJ guy. I for sure had it being one-way traffic for Errol. I like Bud Crawford, but EJ somewhere in life, I'm looking and hoping for the get back for EJ. Family, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I would love to see Errol versus Bud at a catch weight in the 160s. I know it's probably not going to happen because I believe Crawford's only fighting one more time after this if he beats Canelo. And that might be the rematch with Canelo. I wanted to ask Drew this morning, but I forgot. How many rematches has Canelo avenged? 0. Think about it, family. Think about it. Now, wait a second. There she is, the queen of boxing media. My number one comrade, the queen, Sugar Free Mars, is in the house. Now, the thing about boxing, y'all, unfortunately, things never happen usually when they're supposed to. Because this is what's going to happen. Let's say, in a perfect world, Crawford beats Canelo and then decides to fight Errol at a catchweight in the 160s. This is what they're going to say. Now, y'all don't get upset. I'm just painting a picture for y'all. If Errol Spence beats the hell out of Bud Crawford at a catchweight in the 160s, you know what they're going to say, y'all? They're going to say that Crawford suffered from the same thing Roy Jones suffered from when he came down in weight and fought. Man, I'm having a brain fart, y'all. Not why do I want to keep saying Jermaine Taylor? No. Come on, y'all, help me. Tarver. There we go. Come on, y'all. Come on, get those neurons firing. Thought I was getting old on y'all for a second. When he came down and fought Tarver, right? I would have loved for Errol and Bud to have fought the first time in the 160s because I felt like Errol couldn't make that weight anymore. But this ain't about them. This is about our brother Bud Crawford versus Canelo. And I've heard it all, y'all. Coach has heard it all. Let's see, I got about, how much time I got? Okay, I got a little bit of time. All right, I've heard it all. I have heard that Canelo has the best chin, so Crawford has no way in hell, in the blue hell, that he's going to stop Canelo. I have heard that Bud is not strong enough. So basically, everyone is banking on the physical ability of Canelo to oppose his will on a Bud Crawford. Well, let me ask y'all this. In you all's honest opinion, do you believe that Canelo is more athletic than Crawford? Hello. Huh? Do you believe that Canelo is more athletic than Crawford? Okay. Now, some people didn't like when I said this, but let me reiterate what I'm about to say to y'all. What Bomac and Crawford has to keep in mind is that Canelo, because the thing about it is, the scenarios that I'm painting for everyone, one of them is going to happen. This is what I mean, because somebody's going to say, oh, well, that's a cop-out. Because no. This is what I'm saying. It's easy for someone to come on and say, Canelo is just going to win because he's strong, or Crawford is just going to win because he's a better boxer. That's not what we're doing here. That's a cop-out. I'm going to break down the science to the ways they are going to win if they win, whether it's Crawford or Canelo. Now we're getting into the science, into the teaching. Let's say Bud Crawford goes into the fight and starts whooping Canelo 10 rounds, taking the fight to him. This is what everyone must keep in mind when you're watching this fight. Canelo's power is going to carry all the way to the end. I don't care the fact that Canelo burns out after the 6th and 7th round. That's going to come into play for my other observation. For this observation in this scenario, scenario 1, Bud comes in, starts outboxing Canelo. Somewhere between the 1st and 7th round, Canelo catches Crawford, and Crawford either goes to a knee or gets dropped all the way, similar to how Kovalev drops Ward. This does the complete opposite of what it would do to most fighters. It actually makes Crawford get into what I call the killer zone, the matrix. where he turns up his boxing IQ even more, because like our sensei Stormy B Man says, the character of a man like Crawford with his boxing IQ is still what we call a killer. So he's sharper now than ever before and starts really getting the best of Canelo. Canelo, before the end of the round, before the end of the fight, catches Crawford again because of his comfort. This could end the fight. That alone could end it in a draw. That's the first scenario. Let's go to another one. Second scenario, Eddie Reynoso and Canelo Alvarez have decided, and I get this off of them bringing Boots in, trying to give them different looks. Why would they have a slick fighter like Boots sparring with a Canelo Alvarez? Family, let's use this. Let's not think like the casual boxing fan. Why does coaches? Let's think about it. Let's think about it, family. Coaches, why do we bring in Queen? I'm gonna take my time. Why do we bring in a slick fighter to box a fighter who is already bigger, quote unquote stronger, with knockout power, against a fighter who is coming up 3 weight classes? Talk to me. Somebody talk to me, because that means it is not in our plan. I'm gonna make it so plain. It is not in our plan to steamroll Crawford. Family, I know this is crazy. This is the second scenario. Eddie Reynoso, Canelo Alvarez are going to try to fight 168 version of Bud Crawford and outbox him. They are not going to engage with Crawford the way a lot of us are thinking Canelo usually engages. Why do you say this, coach? Because the toughest loss Canelo got is when he was embarrassed in front of the Mexican people by someone by the name of Money. Floyd Money Mayweather. He doesn't want to see that again. Now, Queen Shower says, Bivol, Canelo was beat by Bivol, but he was beat in a way where people could say, he went up and tried to be great. Bivol was too big for him. Fine. You all want to say that? I completely agree. I completely disagree. Bivol showed us once again that Canelo does not know how to get his head off the line when he gets frustrated. Now, hold on. I don't want to go there yet, because that's a different scenario. We're still at the second scenario. Okay. Canelo and Eddie try to outbox Crawford. Crawford is not able to hurt Canelo. He's able to do enough where, to us, we're looking and saying, yeah, Bud is touching Canelo up. But family, we have to look at the judges. We have to look at the people that's judging. And for those of you that don't understand, boxing rounds are not based off of the clean punches landed the way we think they are. Okay? If somebody says, this was a 8-10 round, that means that this fighter did just enough to get the edge on the other fighter. So to make it more plain, Crawford can be whooping Canelo for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But in the last 30 seconds, If Canelo opens up on him and the crowd is cheering, this pro Canelo crowd is cheering, a judge, and we see who's judging, can sit back and say, you know what? We're going to give that to Canelo. Now, see, some of y'all not going to like this, but you have to understand, when a person is coming up to be great, you got to whoop the champ's ass. Let me say it again. When the underdog is coming up to be great, you have to whoop the champ's ass. Okay? Salute Freedom's March in the building. Salute Will Sinclair. Peace, family. Ain't seen you in a while. So that's the second scenario. All right? First scenario I gave you. Second scenario I gave you. That's Eddie Reynoso and Canelo trying to outbox a Crawford or just box enough to win the rounds. Because, family, Canelo does not have to stop Crawford. He doesn't. He just have to do just enough for the judges to say, the champ still got it. Canelo only has to be a fraction of himself when he fought Danny Jacobs. Not get hurt by Crawford. Huh? And they'll be all right. Now, you got to keep in mind, all Canelo has to do is a little razzle-dazzle, and the crowd is going to go crazy. Like Queen Shower said, the crowd goes wild when Canelo swings at air. And if you all don't think that energy, matters, it does. All right? That's the second scenario. We're not going into this just saying, oh, anything. I'm giving you scenario by scenario. All right, coach, give us another scenario. All right, boom, here we go. This scenario is Bomac and Canelo decide, based off of the training that I've seen and based off of the people that I've heard. Because Coach Ear been to the streets, the boxing streets. What I have heard, family, is that strong pressure fighters is who Bud Crawford has been training with. Patrice X says Madrimov fight makes Canelo think he can box Bud like that, when Canelo is mistaken. He doesn't have the slick style like Madrimov in the transverse plane. Now, I'm glad you said that, family. I'm glad you said that. Now, here's the third scenario. And I was going to go out to the bar, but I'm going to watch the fight in my home. I'm going to go live when the fight starts. I'm going to have my notepad out, and I'm going to be judging the rounds as we go. So, third scenario, we have Crawford, Bomac. They get into the ring versus Canelo and Eddie Reynoso. Now, some might say, Coach, why do you say Bomac and Crawford versus Eddie and Canelo? Family. Because this is game plan versus game plan, boxer versus boxer. Let's look at the statue of Terrence Crawford. Let's look at his legs. Let's look at how he's been training up in the cold air. What are we preparing for when we train way above sea level? We are training to go swimming in deep water. Oh, family, stay with me. I said, what are we training for when we go way above sea level? Listen to Queen Shower. Queen Shower says oxygen. Oxygen. Why is most of the muscle mass in Bud's legs? Family, they are planning on putting on one of the most aggressive attack that you all have ever seen on Canelo Alvarez's body. Similar to Ward versus Kovalev 2. Ah, family, listen to me. Listen, you're not going to get this on ESPN what I'm telling you. The third scenario, coach ain't just telling you, this person gonna win because they strong, or this person gonna win just because they boxing. I'm telling you how. I'm telling you how one of the fighters is going to win. And when you see it, you're going to say, damn, this was one of the scenarios coach was talking about. It's happening exactly how he says. Not because I'm just some great boxing mystic. It's because I have studied under the tutelage of great boxing men and women before me who have taught us that the science and the mathematics never fails. Supreme mathematics. When you used to walk the streets of Harlem and you dedicated your life to a certain teaching, they would ask you, brother, what is today's mathematics? This was so that we knew that you knew what the time was. What the time was, and if you knew what needed to be done in that time. So you all are going to see something that we have not seen Canelo be under in a long time. Not only are they going to attack Canelo's body like we never seen before, they're going to get Canelo to turn those old knees. Listen to me. They are going to get Canelo to turn those old knees again and again and again. And don't be surprised if Bud Crawford tries to break one of the ribs of Canelo Alvarez. After the 6th, 7th round, the body attack is going to keep going, but every now and then, Crawford's going to start going up top. Bomac is going to see something. Bomac is going to see something. You like that sugar-free? Turn those old knees. When Bomac sees something and Crawford smells blood, family, and Eddie Reynoso is over there panicking, it is a wrap. Crawford is going to stop Canelo because of the frustration and lack of preparation to be able to adapt to if something goes wrong. How do I know this? Because the science and the math tells me that when Eddie Reynoso, y'all listen to me, family, you can go watch this yourself. Go watch all of the highlights where Canelo has lost under Eddie Reynoso's leadership. When Eddie gets frustrated, along with his fighters, the whole corner panics. Go look. I love it. Go look at Floyd versus Canelo. Go look at that whole front row that's with Canelo. Look at their corner. Look at Eddie. Look at all of them. They're all panicking. There's nobody there to say, all right, calm down. This is what happens. This is what's happening, and this is what I need you to do. I talked to you all the other day about the advantages of being with a fighter from scratch, growing them up from 0 to 100. See, when you come up, Claude, have mercy. Stay focused. All right. Oh, yeah. Listen, family. When you come up, I seen one of our queens, y'all. My bad. Distracted her brother. That's why we must stay focused, family. Over here like Dr. Umar, losing focus. What was I talking about? Oh, the trainers, family. The trainers. Let's talk about the trainers. Now, when you have a fighter from scratch, When you have a fighter from scratch, you know that fighter like the back of your hand. You know his temperament. You know his weaknesses. Huh? Who knows their fighter the way Bomac knows Crawford? See, it's not just about the trainer, the boxing coach, being able to see things on the spot. It's also about you knowing your fighter. Bomac knows Crawford. Virgil Hunter knows Ward. Who was Floyd Mayweather trained by, and who was usually always in his corner? Wake up, family. Wake up, family. This is a science. This is a science and a math. That's why it's so great what Haney did to Kambosos. Do you all honestly believe that they really cared about the safety of a Bill Haney being able to come over to Australia? Do y'all really think that that's what that was about? Come on, family. Let's use our minds. There are people who know what I know. These evil, wicked people who make up some of the elites in the sport of boxing, they knew, or they had in mind, that if we can just take away most of Devin Haney's origins from his corner, he has a higher probability of losing. And Devin Haney goes over there and puts on a masterclass. Hits Kambosos in the face with 100 million jabs for 24 rounds. See? Like Patrice X said, trying to put us at a disadvantage because they can't compete when it's an equal playing field. See, some of y'all don't know, they've tried to mess with Bomac a few times that they've had to travel with Crawford. But the casual boxing content creator is not going to speak on that. These elites have to have it their way or they don't like it. Even if their own steps out of line, they turn against them. What is the WBO doing to Usyk right now? For those of you that don't know, the WBO has started an investigation on Usyk, saying that we don't believe, based off of a video of you dancing, that you need even more time to recover. We are trying to get you back into the ring as soon as possible. And this ain't nothing but blowback because Usyk called Crawford the pound-for-pound champion. Prove what you say, Coach Hudson. Easy. How much grace did they give Fury when he had the belt? How much grace did he give him, y'all? And Fury was doing everything under the sun and running around with a criminal syndicate, and there was no investigation by the WBO or the WBC. Family, don't tell me it's just boxing. And don't charge it to my heart. Don't charge it to Coach. They gave Usyk 9 months. I saw it yesterday. See, here's my problem. Here's my issue. I wouldn't have no problem with it. I wouldn't have no problem with it if they had this same energy when Deontay Wilder was calling all of their top heavyweights out. Do you all see how the speed of things change when they don't have it their way? Do you all see how fast they ordered M. Billy to fight his mandatory, but they make a franchise title for Canelo Alvarez? Two things can be true at the same time. There was a time where they thought that Usyk was going to be their great white hope, just in case, because they saw this thing with Fury wasn't working out. But family, they not fooling me. They not fooling me. Because they never keep the same energy. And people keep acting like they don't see what's going on. When it's one of our fighters, just like that, an investigation is ordered. Who remembers when they called Clarissa Shields a threat to the sport of boxing before the weekend was even out of her fight? Come to find out, they messed up. They messed up, and the apology was not as loud as the rebuke. So Coach is calling out the hypocrisy in how they're moving. Because when Wilder was on top, family, y'all know good and well, everybody was taking their time. Nobody was being rushed to be thrown in there with Wilder, but other fighters didn't want to fight. See, people forget when Ortiz was the boogeyman. Nobody wanted to fight a southpaw heavyweight from Cuba that was knocking them efforts out. But it's funny how quick we forget what is going on in the history, but all family. Y'all know me. Salute to Stormy B-Man, the sensei. That's right, Queen Sugar Free. She bears witness. King Kong Ortiz was absolutely avoided. And Wilder said, you know what? Hey, give me that smoke twice. Hit the man so hard it changed his hairstyle mid-fight. This ain't nothing I'm making up. Wilder is a comic book superhero in real life. And what did we do? We didn't take care of him. It was only a few of us standing with our champion. But that's for another time. That's for another time, family. But Coach has given you three. I've given you three scenarios, play by play, on how Canelo could win or how Crawford could win. Now, for those of you that's going to come to my channel, if Canelo beats Crawford, this is boxing. And I will say still that our brother Dare to Be Great, you will not catch me running from the truth, because this is boxing. But if Crawford wins, oh family, if Crawford wins and you don't like the black American elite boxer shining, you want to steer clear of me. You want to steer clear of me, because I don't care if you try to bring up snack. I don't care what you try to bring up. I'm going to be on 10 for about 3 weeks straight. 3 weeks straight. And like my lady like to tell me, I got stamina, family. I hope that ain't too much for you, but I got stamina. I'm healthy. All right? In the words of Bernie Mac, I'm blessed. And I'm going to be on 10. Shoot, forget 3 weeks. Give me 2 months. Don't let Crawford stop Canelo. Y'all going to be sick of me to your stomach. Sick. So family, regardless, it is fight week. I don't want to hear nothing about no exhibitions. I don't give a damn about no Jake Paul versus Tank. I don't care about Floyd Mayweather versus Mike. We have a real fight, family, and we have to put our differences to the side. Like Goku and Vegeta, we got to put our differences to the side to defeat Frieza. Listen to what I'm saying. Vegeta and Goku, for those of you who used to watch Dragon Ball Z, when Frieza came down and wanted to defeat all the Saiyans, Vegeta, with his arrogant, trash-talking self, said, we're not going to be able to do this alone. We're going to all have to come together to defeat Frieza. I had to rush home. And they would always leave me messed up. Right before something big was gonna happen. Hold on, fam. Let my windows up. Right before something big was gonna happen, they would say, will such and such come through? We'll find out next week. Just leave me all messed up. Family, we don't have to wait any longer, because this week is fight week. This week is the week where we see Canelo Alvarez go against the pound for pound. I said the pound for pound. Bud Crawford. #1 fighter in the world, in my opinion. Right behind him, I would say Usyk. And family, our job as boxing fans, we have to support this, y'all. Because if we do not support this fight and Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr., like the events that they are, the business minds, the elites of the sport of boxing are going to put all their money into these punk-ass exhibitions. And I will not stand by and allow it. So regardless if you're for Canelo or you're for Bud, we got to show up and we have to show out. Go and get that Netflix subscription. You can cancel it the next day. Call the bank and say this y'all know what to do. Y'all know what to do. But we got to support. All right. Family, I appreciate y'all rocking with Coach. I had to just give y'all some of those scenarios and talk about some of the science. Every day we getting into it. Talking about the biggest fight of the last 7 years is about to happen this week, y'all. We are in the belly of the beast. Our brother Bud Crawford is entering the very valley of the shadow of death. And I should fear no evil. Shout out to the Queen Sugar Free Mars. My brother Patrice X30, the Queen Shawa. Intelligent Savage 629 coming through, showing love. Will Sinclair, the teacher and the sensei, Stormy B-Man. Did I mention Queen Sugar Free Mars is the queen of boxing media, my #1 comrade. Salute to Eric Jordan, who came through. All right, everyone that came through to rock with your coach. Freedom's March came through. The Village brother. Did I say Eric? Yeah, Eric Jordan, Queen Tay always support. Shout out to the queens, always supporting the brother. You dig? All right. Peace to the family. Let me read this real quick. Intelligent Savage said, absolutely salute Devin and Brian Norman, rolling with Dev in all these fights. Family, not only that, it's going to be a great fight, it's a great card, period. In my honest opinion, that Devin versus Brian Norman Jr. card is going to be a lot better than this card. The only fight I'm really looking forward to on this card this week is Crawford versus Canelo. These other guys, I'm going to watch, y'all. I'm going to watch and support. But that Devin Haney versus Norman Jr. card, my God. My God. We going to see fight of the year in one of those fights. I can promise you that. But family, salute. And it's peace to the family. Peace to my comrades. And it's always smoke to the COINTELPRO boxing fan. And don't charge it to Coach. Charge it to my heart when I get passionate about being on code and being in unity, and know that it's always out of love, never hate. And if I ever sense a little bit of cooning germ in you, I'm going to baptize you with the truth so that you are reminded of who you are, what you come from, and the shoulders that we stand on. Peace, family. These hypocrites gonna get tired of me.